Hi there, this is Jeff, and I want to tell you about the 2026 Raleigh GalaxyCon. Here we go. All right, so I am old. That's been established, but I do like to go to the GalaxyCon in Raleigh, and I get my steps in for sure. And it's funny because it's Thursday, usually around the end of July. Sometimes it's a little earlier, but around the end of July. And it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you go on Thursday, it's more low key because it's only open like half the day. It starts at 2 and then it goes till later. So, but Tuesday's a nice kind of getting in the swing of things. And they have panels that you can go to. They have big main stage panels in a huge room. And then they have smaller ones for little things like voiceover acting, how you can get into it, and that kind of thing. So Thursday is a little smaller. Friday gets a little bigger. And then Saturday is just crazy nuts. You have to come prepared mentally and everywhere else. So I get a little water in my backpack and I'm prepared. And then Sunday is kind of like Thursday. It's not as bad because usually I guess people are going to church, I suppose, on Sunday. But anyway, it's not as packed. And so we went there, and I'm going to start to kind of rattle off little things that I remember that me and my buddy Daniel did during the GalaxyCon. When I started this whole going to conventions like Comic-Con and everything, Star Wars was the thing. And it's not as big now. There's some Star Trek folks at Cosplay, but a lot of it's anime. And there's Chainsaw Head and a lot of One Piece, guys with a straw hat and all this kind of stuff. But there's a lot of anime. And if you were to pay me $1,000 to say what these anime people are coming from, I would lose every time. And I just say, keep your money because I don't know. But there's a guy, his name is Guy Hutchinson, and he does videos on YouTube, but he also does a lot of fun panels, like he was doing theme parks that have Hanna-Barbera characters. And you would think that's kind of boring, but no, not with Guy Hutchinson. He gets all the information that he needs on this, and it's very, very entertaining. As a matter of fact, Daniel and I left a panel in the main stage, big ballroom, because it was not funny. It was boring. It was just boring. And so we went to Guy Hutchinson's thing about the Hanna-Barbera theme park things. And it was very entertaining. And as a matter of fact, Guy was late one time to his panel, a few minutes. And look, I've been a trainer. That was what I used to do. And so keeping a group engaged was like top priority. And he was magical, absolutely. It was really fascinating. He was talking about dog movies. And if you read the title of it, it said, we're going to be talking dog movies. And when you read it, you go, how many movies have dogs that talk? And so when he was setting up, and he said, the title was sort of kind of a joke because we're going to be talking dog movies. And he goes, it's not talking dogs, it's talking dog movies. And it was fascinating. We talked about Benji and Lassie and different things and all the TV shows and everything. And it was really, really interesting. And I got kind of confused, and I was shouting up there to Guy, and because he said, Rin Tin Tin has never had a movie. And I said, what about the Spielberg one? And he said, no, that was Tintin. So Guy's on top of all this stuff, man. He's very, very well researched. And we had a chance to talk to him, and I bought a couple of his books. Guy Hutchinson's books are great. And especially he has postcards and letters from presidents. Oh, man. You got to check that out. But anyway, so we went to a couple of panels. Now, what I wanted to do was get an autograph from Rose McGowan, because I'm still, even though the show was on like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever, once upon a time, I'm still trying to kind of collect different, say hi and tell them, thanks, whatever, look at this face and say, don't get scared. I used to host a podcast with my wife about Once Upon a Time. Telling someone that you hosted a podcast about their television show, some people just don't know what to do. But Rose McGowan was very sweet, very nice. Waiting in line was a wild situation because, look, there's so many people in the autograph area that you get a little tense. And there was a little tension out there. And there was this woman who was trying to really get everybody to keep moving through there. She had a tough job because everyone was just like stressed out, Hey, I want to go see Jerry Trainer. Or, hey, I want to go see Terry Farrell from Star Trek, or hey, I want to whatever. And then people are wandering around, and sometimes they'll stop either because they want to look at somebody that maybe they admire or whatever, or maybe their feet are hurting. And she was just kept, saying, please keep moving, don't stop. And there was some tense conversations, and I got to hand it to the woman. She really handled it well. This one gal was yelling at her. She said, you're being rude. And she goes, ma'am, I'm not being rude. I have to keep, think this is a fire hazard and we need to keep moving. I finally got to meet Rose McGowan. Really, really nice. And there was a bunch of Scream movie people there that just love Scream and or Charmed. But I think the percentage of people that were coming up to get things signed by Rose weren't, there's a small percentage of Once Upon a Time fans. I don't know. Because truth be told, she was only in 1 or 2 episodes. But it was nice to see her. And it was great to kind of thank her for her work and all that. And Rose told me some stories. She said, when I got the part, I was filming in Bulgaria. And I needed to get some footage of Barbara Hershey to kind of set things at, and so that I could see that and then kind of think, what would she be like younger and that. And she goes, I never got anything from ABC. So I had to watch Beaches and then kind of build out from there. And I've read other interviews, and she told me, she goes, I hope it really resonated. And I said, we really enjoyed your role in Once Upon a Time. It was great because there's so many great actors there. And then to bring her on to add to Cora. I mean, some people loved Cora and some people did not. She was kind of mean when she got older. Anyway, but she also said, acting with, Rose said, acting with the folks in Once Upon a Time was really tough because they were just so good. And she's been quoted as saying, Robert Carlyle, acting with him is like doing mental tennis. You have to just keep on top of everything. And she said, I love Lana Parrilla. And so it was just, she knew I was coming from Once Upon a Time, and she was giving me the information associated to that. And she was just wonderful. And she signed my DVD or my Blu-ray with her episode on it. She signed it on the paper, and it said, Jeff, you are a magic. And when Rose McGowan signs that you are magic, brother, you are. So I am magic. I'm telling you, because Rose said so. We went to a lot of different panels, and we had a lot of, fun times, a lot of walking. My doctor is just thrilled with that because, any walking is great for me. Oh, every year there's something about this Terrifier movie. I watched about 5 minutes and it was gross. It reminded me a lot of the 80s kind of slasher movies. And I was like, okay, all right. But there's always something about a Terrifier. And my buddy and I went to the Deep Space Nine panel. And they talked about Deep Space Nine and different things. We also went to the Lizzie Kaplan panel. And Lizzie Kaplan is from Mean Girls. She's been in a couple of. She was in Cloverfield, the movie with the guy from Roseanne, the husband. I can't think. Just my mind is going. But anyway, Lizzie Kaplan, just really, really nice. And that was her first convention. So there's that. All right. GalaxyCon Raleigh 2026. We'll put it to bed and then we'll cross the bridge next year. So I wanted to let you know about that. Anyway, see ya. Thanks. Bye.